Welcome, my name is Alondra Saldivar. I will be doing my presentation on attributions and personality as predictors of road rage response by Thomas Britt and Michael Garrett. To begin with, road rage would be considered getting angry with another driver in response to a provocation. For example, cussing, yelling, honking at the other driver, feeling aggressive towards them. So to begin with, we do have some history for road rage. According to AAA, more than 80% of drivers do experience anger, aggression, or road rage at least once a year behind the wheel. So the way researchers had studied this experiment was within two hypotheses. The first one was in terms of personality variables, and the second one was in terms of attributional components of road rage. So let's begin with the first one, which is personality variables. Their hypothesis was that the four measures of dispositional anger and aggression were the main predictors of anger and aggression. As well as physical and verbal aggression, they would be related to the behavioral component. So then we're going to go on with the second hypothesis that had to do with the attributional components of road rage, which were blame and hostility would be mainly predictive in the emotional and behavioral component. So, for example, the driver feeling as if the other driver is provoking them to feel angry and have these certain types of behaviors because the other driver is provoking them in a certain way. So, the way the researchers had examined this experiment was through a method. They had gathered 164 undergraduates from Eastern University in USA. So, they did have 39% male and 61% female. They had white people, they had African Americans, and then they had another race. So the average age of these participants were 19 years old. The way this procedure worked is that the researchers had these participants recall a recent situation in which they had an anger-provoking situation, and they did give them three situations to think about. So the first one was being tailgated, the second one was being cut off, and the third one was thinking of when you were following a person that was going really slow and you were unable to switch lanes due to heavy traffic. After the participants have recalled that recent situation, they were then asked to answer a set of questionnaires that assess their emotions, behaviors, and thoughts while they were in that situation. So did you feel angry? Did you feel worried? Did you feel sad? How did you feel on a scale of 1 through 5? Very little, very much, somewhat. Were you yelling at them? Were you cussing? Did you flip anybody off? It's just to assess on how they felt on that certain moment. So after these set of questionnaires, they were then led to the third procedure in which they were then asked to answer a set of battery questionnaires that assess their personality inventory. So the way these researchers had assessed their personality inventory is through a personality scale. So they did have several, and I will name all of them right now. The first one was narcissistic personality inventory, in which assessed their narcissism. The second one was Rosenberg's self-esteem scale, in which assessed their self-esteem level. The third one was dispositional aggressiveness, in which assessed their four measures of aggressiveness, in which were verbal, physical, blame, hostility. The 44-item version of Big Five checklist, in which assessed their openness, extroversion, consciousness, etc. And the positive and negative affect scale, in which assessed their positive and negativity. So after doing these procedures, researchers had their results in which certain attributions did predict road rage responses, and as well as tailgating did lead to verbal and physical aggression, as well as personality and aggressive behavior, anger, and hostile attributions were highly predicted when being cut off. None of the least, attributional patterns did not directly lead to track emotional or behavioral components of road rage responses. So we do have future directions that researchers want to take upon. So they want to have these participants respond to a set of questionnaires while being in an anger-provoking situation. Why is that? Because they want to know exactly how you feel at that moment that you were being tailgated or were in a situation in which you were in road rage, as well as have better communication with these participants by having them use their cell phones while driving, having headsets on, so you could ask them, how they feel, as well asking them questions while driving, just assessing them better overall. So I am in the end of my presentation. Do we have any questions, comments? Let me know. Thank you for your time.